This is Nebraska 4-H Month, and to celebrate, the Egg Education Center at the Nebraska State Fairgrounds put 4-H'ers and their exhibits on display. 4-H'ers and extension educators were showing off a few of those things at Raising Nebraska last weekend. The 4-H Day is a first for the still new Raising Nebraska exhibit, and the lead educator there says they share the same mission as 4-H, so that day was a perfect fit.
Nebraska 4-H Month has been celebrated for a long time, but it's the first time of having something special in Raising Nebraska to highlight 4-H. It's a great way to just kind of get some of those things out there so that you can see the different projects that you can do.
The Hamilton County 4-H'ers say the foods event they teamed up for meant a lot of work before fair time. Raising Nebraska, your food and the people who grow it opened just in time for last year's state fair, but they're not done dreaming of the future. Here's a visit with Kathleen Lodel from the University of Nebraska.
We launched this year, and the reality is we did a great job, but there's still some more elements that have even come into place since that time, right?
Absolutely. You know, we knew that the Raising Nebraska experience would be in phases, and we're so excited about what happened during State Fair this year. The things that are happening now, we have school groups coming in, we have local organizations, FFA chapters, 4-H chapters. We've got great kickoffs scheduled for this coming year, and there have been pieces built out. So if you haven't been to Raising Nebraska since the State Fair, come on in and see the pivot. You'll now see the electronic fiber optics that really go with what's happening with the choices you make on the computer game, really on the pivot. So that's a pretty fun thing to see.
What kind of feedback did you get from folks, the commodity groups and the farm organizations?
We've actually been meeting with the commodity groups right now to plan for the next phase, and we've been looking at the data from this year's fair. And what we can do, Steve, is we can actually track how many people have been through each interactive experience in Raising Nebraska. So we have some real data that we can use to inform our next steps. And here's some messaging around that. People really want to know where their food comes from and make that personal. They wanted to know that animals were being well cared for. We saw that in the choices that they made on the Trusted Choices video kiosks, what kinds of videos they were looking at. We know that they wanted to do something interactive, which is not a surprise to us. We know that one of the most popular areas in the whole space was inside the agri-house and the table where you got to pick the meals and see where each of those foods come from, and then you got to see about food insecurity. So in general, we've got great data and are planning to go forward.
Any surprises as you looked at the data?
I don't think there were any real surprises. Probably the fact that people were so excited and wanting to see more and ready to come back. And now we're just waiting to see how we can build that out. We've got next steps ready to go, getting school groups in to take a look at the website, because we now have lesson plans that students are going to be using throughout the year. So we're gunning up for 2015.
I'm sure you'd still love to raise some more money and be able to put some more exhibits in.
Absolutely. In those next phases, we're going to be looking for new partners and sponsors. And another piece we haven't talked about yet is the whole outside space that's going to be to the east of the building. That's actually going to be the Raising Nebraska Outdoor Learning Laboratory, where we'll have crops going in, different kinds of things that represent Nebraska. So stay tuned for that as well.
We continue to track that drought monitor. Regina is in next with a look at our grow weather. And our market analyst stops by. Stay with us.